a phone with strong battery life, fast charging, and a beautiful screen. And because we play games together every day, the gaming performance has to be rock solid. If the phone stutters while we're in a match, it completely ruins the fun. I'm sure many of you watching have the exact same requirements when picking a new device. So in today's video, we picked up 3 of the most talked about flagship models. The OnePlus Ace 6T, globally known as the OnePlus 15R, launching on December 17th with a 165Hz display, excellent signal performance, long battery life, and a great in-hand feel. The newly updated Redmi K90, its global name is POCO F9 Pro, and the iQOO Neo 11, which comes with a 2K 144Hz screen and a very balanced overall configuration. All 3 are strong contenders and worth checking out if you're planning to buy a flagship soon. Each one shines in its own way, and my goal today is to help you figure out which one offers the best overall value. If you're shopping for a new phone right now, you definitely don't want to miss this. A quick shout out to my tech partner from China for sharing this video. A big thank you for making this possible. Hey everyone, it's Maiky from techmaiky. If you love staying updated with the latest gadgets, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our exciting tech content. All right, let's jump into the testing. A smartphone, at the end of the day, is something you hold all the time, so the way it feels in the hand matters a lot. All 3 models use a full metal frame and glass back panel, no plastic frames, no plastic screen borders, which is always a good sign. If you're someone who likes slightly bigger phones, the OnePlus Ace 6T is going to impress you immediately. Among the 3, it has the smoothest and most seamless transition between the frame and the back panel. The texture of the back is warm and soft to the touch, and the green finish looks really appealing. Since the camera module is small and tucked neatly into the top left corner, it won't get in the way when you're using the phone in portrait mode. The Redmi K90 is the most compact phone here. Its width is under 75 millimeters, so using it with one hand is pretty easy. The camera bump is a bit larger and the lenses can catch fingerprints sometimes, but overall the design stands out. There's a floating glass piece on the rear panel that gives it a very distinctive look, and at 6.5 inches, it's perfect for people with smaller hands, still big enough for movies while remaining comfortable. The iQOO Neo 11 doesn't do as well in this category. It's the widest of the 3 and not the easiest to manage one-handed. Its ultra-wide camera sits lower, so it picks up fingerprints more easily. But the back cover material feels soft and premium, and with the upgraded metal frame, the in-hand feel is much improved from the previous generation. So the design has definitely stepped up. Turning to the front, all 3 phones have slim bezels and no plastic around the display, which makes the viewing experience more immersive. On paper, the iQOO Neo 11 leads with its true 2K 144Hz panel and higher pixel density. But in everyday use, the difference in sharpness isn't as dramatic as you might expect. The screens on the OnePlus Ace 6T and Redmi K90 are perfectly sharp for daily use. The Neo 11 still keeps its signature punchy color calibration, but that can cause some eye fatigue after long sessions. With the default color temperature, the Ace 6T actually feels more comfortable to look at. If you do go for the Neo 11, I'd suggest switching to the professional color mode for a softer, more natural display. Now for gaming, this is where the Ace 6T gets really exciting. Its 165Hz refresh rate is a major highlight, and at this price, it's the highest you can currently get. It's also the first phone to support a native 165Hz mode in PUBG Mobile. In actual use, this gives it a smoother, quicker response than the iQOO Neo 11. The Ace 6T also comes with a 290Hz touch sampling rate, and in my tests it reached up to 298Hz. That means super precise touch control, even when using multiple fingers. Since I often game for hours on the iQOO Neo 11 as well, eye protection is really important. Thankfully, all 3 phones support high-frequency PWM dimming, which helps protect your eyes in low-brightness environments. The Ace 6T has extra low brightness and low light eye care modes, while the Redmi K90 uses circular polarized light technology, which is genuinely impressive outdoors. You can see the screen clearly in bright daylight without straining your eyes. Even though manufacturers love to highlight 3000 or 4000 nit peak brightness, those numbers refer to extremely specific situations. So we took the phones outside under harsh midday sunlight to compare. As you can see, all 3 have high overall brightness, and each one stays readable under direct sun. The Redmi K90 shows a reddish tint at maximum brightness, but the iQOO Neo 11 and OnePlus Ace 6T maintain normal color temperature, making them easier to use outdoors. Now that we've gone over the design and display, let's dive into the part everyone cares about the most: performance. This is what determines how smooth your phone feels day to day, how long it stays fast over the years, and of course, how high you can push your gaming experience. But if you're a gamer, you already know raw power isn't enough. Efficiency, refresh rate, and maximum achievable frame rate all play a huge role in how well a phone handles heavy titles, especially down the line. As someone who plays mobile games a lot, I was really curious to see how these three devices stack up, so I ran some very detailed tests. One of the games I absolutely had to include was Call of Duty Mobile. It's one of the biggest FPS titles right now and a personal favorite. This time, to make things tougher, I skipped the usual indoor tests and jumped straight into outdoor testing at maximum brightness. I wanted to see if their battery drain and frame rates could stay as strong under the sun as they do indoors. So let's jump right into the stress test. After running sustained CHOD mobile gameplay, the phone that shocked me the most was the OnePlus Ace 6T. It posted the highest frame rate I've ever recorded, hitting 162.9 frames per second, yet its power consumption averaged only 4.77 watts, which is lower than many phones that max out at just 120 FPS. Throughout the session, the mid-frame area of the Ace 6T felt slightly warm, but the back and the screen stayed cool, showing that its heat dissipation is genuinely excellent. The iQOO Neo 11, limited by its display, topped out at 144 FPS. It's not quite as fast as the Ace 6T's 165 Hz, but it still felt incredibly smooth, holding a rock-solid average of 143 FPS with zero drops or stutter. Under the same conditions, the Neo 11 also consumed less power, making it the more efficient option. The right side of the mid-frame warmed up slightly, but overall heat management was quite good. Out of the three, the Redmi K90 performed the weakest in this round. It reached a maximum of 120 FPS with an average of 119.8 FPS during testing. It also ran the hottest and didn't offer noticeably lower power usage, averaging over 4 watts. The biggest issue, though, was the in-game resolution. While the other two phones output at 1080p, the Redmi dropped to just 856p. The clarity and smoothness weren't on par, and it didn't make up for it with better efficiency or thermals. Its smaller size may be a contributing factor here. Next up is PUBG Mobile, and this is where the OnePlus Ace 6T gets a clear advantage. It supports a native 165 Hz refresh rate, and in smooth mode, you can actually enjoy true 165 Hz gameplay. If you prefer better visuals, enabling HD and 90 FPS through PUBG Tooth still lets the Ace 6T climb to 165 Hz. Even at these ultra-high settings, it maintained an average of 162.1 FPS while only drawing 4.3 watts. That's an outstanding performance. The iQOO Neo 11 brings frame interpolation and super resolution into the mix. In smooth mode at 144 FPS, its average power usage was an impressive 4.19 watts. Combine that with the image enhancement features and the visuals look noticeably better. With an average frame rate of 143.4 FPS, the gameplay stayed consistently smooth. As a phone geared toward performance, the Neo 11 really delivers a strong gaming experience. The Redmi K90, on the other hand, falls behind again. Although the phone technically supports frame interpolation in the gaming window, it simply doesn't function properly. Neither 60 FPS nor 90 FPS modes work as intended, so it's clear the optimization isn't there yet. Switching to smooth mode at 120 FPS, the K90 actually consumed more power than the OnePlus, averaging 4.8 watts, but only delivered about 198.3 FPS. The gameplay isn't as fluid and the battery drain is higher. In short, the Redmi K90 still has a long way to go when it comes to gaming performance. Whether it's everyday use, gaming, or taking photos, battery life is one of the most important things. No matter how powerful a phone is, if it dies quickly, you can't enjoy any of that performance. And sure, you can play games while the phone is plugged in, but let's be honest, it never feels comfortable. Even though all three phones support direct power supply, meaning gaming while charging won't harm the battery, most gamers don't want to sit there with a cable dangling from the phone all the time. For this part of the test, I focused on two setups: long-term daily usage and heavy gaming sessions. I wanted to see which device truly lasts the longest. In regular day-to-day use, the OnePlus Ace 6T delivered an impressive 10 hours and 20 minutes, my best result so far. That huge 8300 mAh battery really pushes the limits and easily breaks the 10-hour mark. Keeping an eye on the battery the whole time was exhausting, and constantly switching between apps with the direct connection software wasn't easy either. The Redmi K90 managed 8 hours and 31 minutes, which makes sense since it has the smallest battery of the three. Honestly, that amount of battery life is more than enough for most people's work and school routines. The iQOO Neo 11 technically has a bigger battery than the K90, but its 2K display consumes more energy. It reached 8 hours and 45 minutes, and from 100% down to 30%, its consumption rate was almost identical to the Redmi. When it comes to gaming, things get even more interesting. The most power-hungry title in my test was Triangle, which drained battery at roughly the same rate as Genshin Impact. Even under this kind of stress, the OnePlus Ace 6T managed 7 hours and 10 minutes of gaming. The performance remained smooth even when it dropped to 5-10% battery. No sudden frame drops, no freezing, just steady gameplay. The Redmi K90 actually outperformed the iQOO Neo 11 here, lasting 6 hours and 18 minutes. I think that's largely thanks to its 1.5K 120Hz screen, which is more power efficient. Although it starts to lag a bit once battery dips below 10%, its overall performance in gaming endurance is solid. The iQOO Neo 11 was the least impressive, lasting only 5 hours and 58 minutes. The good news is that the gameplay itself was smoother than on the Redmi, but the battery still didn't hold up as well. So if long battery life is your top priority, especially for outdoor use or working from a cafe, then the OnePlus Ace 6T clearly stands out. The Redmi K90 doesn't have the best gaming experience, but its endurance is respectable. The iQOO Neo 11 suffers mostly because of its 2K 144Hz screen. The battery life isn't terrible, but it doesn't wow either. Moving on to the cameras, all three phones come with a 50-megapixel main sensor. The Ace 6T benefits from Oppo's flagship-level image processing. The Redmi K90 includes a dedicated telephoto lens, and the iQOO Neo 11 is slightly weaker in terms of hardware. But camera quality always comes down to real-world results. We took all three phones into various scenarios, and as you can see, the image quality is quite good across the board. If you're worried about mid-range phones not having good cameras, you can relax. These three cover pretty much all daily shooting needs. If you're a gamer who wants unbeatable battery life and the most stable performance, the OnePlus Ace 6T is easily the best fit. Its 165Hz display makes every action feel incredibly smooth. CoreOS provides excellent optimization and great game compatibility, letting the phone deliver top-tier performance consistently. That massive 8300 mAh battery, 7400 mAh in the global OnePlus 15R, paired with 100-watt fast charging, puts it at the top of its class. Personally, I wish it had a telephoto lens, but the ultra-high refresh rate and largest battery at this price make it extremely appealing. Add the durable metal frame and IP69K dust and water resistance, and you get a true all-rounder. The Redmi K90 is ideal for users with smaller hands or anyone who specifically wants a telephoto lens at this price. A 7000 mAh battery in this segment is genuinely impressive. As part of Xiaomi's premium lineup, the K90 fits perfectly into Xiaomi's strategy of offering niche devices, some compact, some huge. As the most budget-friendly option among the three, it still has strong market potential. Personally, I just wish the gaming performance was better. The iQOO Neo 11's biggest highlight is its 2K 144Hz display. If you want an ultra-high resolution, high refresh screen at a more affordable price, this is the one to pick. Compared to phones like the Redmi K80 Pro or iQOO Neo 10 Pro, the Neo 11 still comes out on top. With the new metal frame and well-rounded gaming features, there's a lot of potential for further improvement. And if the colors look a bit too saturated for your liking, remember, you can always switch to a more natural color mode. And that wraps up our comparison of these three mid-range devices. I hope this video helps you choose the phone that fits your needs. If you still have questions about picking the right phone, drop them in the comments. We'll get back to you quickly. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.